UFC 289. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown. Main event, Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana. Looking forward to the card. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure to share the video as well. Also note, full card fight companion, 7 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. Do not miss it. And let's get into the fights. Starting it off, we have Belbiţă versus Oliveira. I'm going to go the Oliveira side to win this fight. I don't love her technique, but she's pretty quick and kind of bullies with pressure and multi-shot combination. She uses her athleticism fairly well. Belbiţă may have a bit more of the real one-shot knockout power, but really, I see her getting touched up down the line with straight punches by the quicker Oliveira, who's awkward on the feet and also going to be the physically stronger girl with a very slight reach advantage. Oliveira looks to have longer arms. She's got an inch in the reach department, and she's actually an inch shorter than Belbiţă. I like the Oliveira side to win. Don't be surprised if she lands takedowns here. I know she just lost to Vanessa Demopoulos recently and was taken down and controlled in that fight, but Demopoulos' grappling game is pretty damn solid. Belbiţă doesn't have those type of skills. She is a violent striker who likes to scrap. Oliveira likes to do the same thing. I think it looks similar to the Oliveira versus Gloria DiPaula fight. She gets it done. I'm going Oliveira to beat Belbiţă in the fight here. As far as the odds for this one, Oliveira at -125 starts the night off with a slight favorite. Belbiţă at +105. I feel like this fight's going the distance. Oliveira's young. Belbiţă's young. Scrappy girls. I'm going with the better athlete in this women's fight, and I'm going with Oliveira to win it. Let's start that night off with the W. Next one. It is Dvořák versus Steve Erceg. I'm going to shock a lot of people here. I think Erceg's going to win this thing. I like him as a prospect. I've known about him since Shannon Ross fought on the Contender Series. That was the first time I discovered Erceg. I looked at the tape on him against Shannon Ross, and I'm like, damn, why is this guy not on the Contender Series? Instead, they got Shannon Ross, who was on a one-fight win streak fighting on the show. Erceg is a menacing grappler. Really dangerous with his chokes, but also has some stand-up, and he's very tall for 125 pounds, 125 fucking flyweight division, 5'9". 5'9's freaky for that weight class, man, and he carries the weight well. He's actually got a little bit of sting on his punches, too. I feel like Dvořák is decent. He's well-rounded everywhere, and you see the record, it jumps off the page. Bro, he's 20-5. Dig into Dvořák's record, and you look at a lot of his early wins. They are not available opponents, no-name records. He's built the record well. He's a good fighter, and in the UFC, I mean, he's taken 2 back-to-back losses against tough competition. Matthias Nicolau, top contender. Manel Kape, top contender. The reason Erceg is in this spot is because he's taking this fight on short notice. But I also think it's because he's confident that he matches up well with the much shorter Dvořák, who's a decent kickboxer. On the ground, Dvořák has sub-skills, but I'm telling you, I don't think he's nearly as slick as Erceg is on the floor. I kind of see Erceg taking his back and strangling him. I'm going with him to win this fight, and it's going to be a bit of an upset. The lines for this fight, as of right now, have Erceg, what the fuck, +385. That blew my mind when I saw this initially, because I looked at it before doing the show. +385 is a dog. Dvořák -500. Dvořák's not a 5-1 here. Erceg is a savage prospect on the come up. And look at this. This line here, +150 for Erceg, is what I saw on Tapology earlier. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Wow, that's crazy, man. Just disgustingly wide favorite, Dvořák. He shouldn't be this wide. He's not a 5-1 favorite here. Erceg, I think, wins by sub. I see it as a competitive fight. Both guys with good tool sets, but the frame of Erceg's a problem. The jiu-jitsu is a problem, and I think he's got some stand-up. He's a good prospect. And Dvořák, we kind of know the level now. He's below that elite flyweight level. He can be beaten. And I'm telling you, I think Erceg wins. And I'm going to go out on a whim and say I'm going Erceg by submission to pull it off here and get his UFC career started with a massive upset, it seems. And it's not impossible because we've seen it. And, you know, it's short notice. Same like Nemov pulled it off against Malarkey. But damn, that's up a weight class. This is Erceg, flyweight contender, one of the top flyweight prospects from outside of the UFC. Coming in, starting it off with David Dvořák. I think he's strangling him. Upset. Erceg. Next fight on the card, we got Blake Bilder and Kyle Nelson. The pick here is Blake Bilder. I like Blake Bilder's style. I'm confident he can get this done, but it's going to be harder than maybe some would anticipate because even though Kyle Nelson is like 1-4-1 in the UFC, he's got power in his hands. He comes with heavy pressure. He's a good Muay Thai style striker. He's got a tight style with his kickboxing. And he also can grapple. He's pretty physically strong. And he's got a frame advantage over Blake Bilder. He's taller by 3 inches. He's got the 2.5-inch reach advantage. Bilder, though, physically, he's going to be the stronger guy. In the grappling entanglements, there is an advantage for Blake Bilder. And also, I think that Blake Bilder's got a nice left hook. He could potentially touch Kyle Nelson as Nelson looks to come inside with a clean and tight left hook. Watch out for the left side in general of Bilder because he also has got a really nasty high kick. But the takedowns and grappling control are a big factor here. I think him putting Kyle Nelson on his ass with wrestling, and then even if Nelson gets back up to the feet, that fucks with his rhythm. Bilder is going to find strikes there. I'm picking Blake Bilder to win. I respect the toughness of Kyle Nelson on the other side. I could see Bilder locking up something on the floor, but I'm kind of thinking Blake Bilder by decision. As far as the odds, Blake Bilder, he's growing by the day as a favorite. He's going to keep growing. Originally, it was minus 400 to open. That's crazy. You're actually getting a decent tag at minus 220 right now, coming down from minus 400. But I saw him as low as minus 190 earlier last week. I'm going Blake Bilder to win. I think he's a solid pick, a confident pick, I would say. Nelson's the plus 185 dog. I think he'll be tough in the fight, but outmatched here. Blake Bilder, 8-0-1, has not taken an L yet. I don't think that Kyle Nelson is going to be the first guy to beat Blake Bilder. So we're riding the Blake Bilder side. And he's also very physically strong. He's got a fucking crazy jacked back. I'm telling you, in the grappling, it's a big edge. Blake Bilder, grappling control, outstriking him. I'll say he gets the decision, but submission's possible. Let's keep running up. Next fight on the card, we got Aiemann Zahabi versus Aoriqileng. I'm going to pick Aiemann Zahabi. I think Aoriqileng is kind of overrated by the commentary, especially when I went and I was watching the fight against Jay Perrin. Joe Rogan is just talking about how Qileng has crazy power and whatnot. I mean, he hits with a bit of sting in his hands, but he's got a decision win over Jay Perrin, who got killed by an 18-year-old Raul Rosas to start it out, and he was getting taken down by Jay. Yeah, he knocked out Cameron Else, but, I mean, he's got 2 losses. Guys that tend to have a bit of grappling can outwork him on the ground. So now you're going to ask yourself, all right, in the stand-up, how is it going to look with Aiemann Zahabi? Is Qileng just going to let his monstrous power come through and end up getting a KO? I think that Aiemann Zahabi is going to be tricky to deal with on the feet because he controls range pretty well. I feel like Aiemann Zahabi is pretty, I would say, knowledgeable with the stand-up to a high level, even if he's not the best as far as his explosiveness or his knockout power. I see high-level technique. The way he carries his hands is slick. He finds his shots well. He's very accurate. Qileng is going to be looking for power strikes. And I think that Zahabi is going to find shots straight down the line and touch Qileng up. As far as when they get into the grappling, Zahabi is going to have a technical grappling advantage, I believe, in this fight. Faraz Zahabi's brother, TriStar Jim, Aiemann Zahabi for the win. I think he's pulling this one off against Qileng. As far as the lines, Zahabi is plus 111. We got dog money. And then Aoriqileng minus 131. I feel like the power of Qileng's overrated. And I just don't think that he's all that top tier, whereas Zahabi couldn't beat him. And I know Zahabi's 35. That's not a great age for bantamweight, but this is the back end level. And I think Aiemann Zahabi pulls a decision off. Upset win at home in Canada for Zahabi. Next fight on the card, ladies going after it. It's Jasudavicius versus Miranda Maverick. I'm going to be picking Miranda Maverick here. as everybody probably is because she's a really wide favorite. The bookies know what's going to happen. Okay, one thing I want to say about this fight is Jasudavicius. She probably shouldn't be a huge underdog because she does have a good frame advantage over Maverick. She's 5'7" to Maverick's 5'3". Jasudavicius is okay with the stand-up, but isn't all that athletic. She's decent. Miranda Maverick is quicker on the feet and she's more athletic. She closes the gap faster. And then when you talk about the grappling, yeah, there's a height advantage for Jasudavicius, but Miranda Maverick's going to be a lot stronger with her grappling control and I think is also the better wrestler. Now, I think this fight is not a complete washout. When they get to the floor, Maverick has a clear advantage, but she's not the greatest wrestler in the women's flyweight division. I don't think that she lands every takedown she shoots for. She's going to have to deal with getting touched up a bit by the longer fighter in Jasudavicius on the other side. Ultimately, I do see her eventually backing up Jasudavicius to the cage, tripping her, and when she gets on top, she will shine. She has dominant grappling, good positional control, and she's got submission skills too, but Jasudavicius is a capable grappler in her own right. I think that Miranda Maverick is getting it done, but it's going to be on the scorecards here. Unanimous decision for Miranda Maverick over, I think it's going to be a tough effort by Jasudavicius. Look, plus 265, I think that Jasudavicius isn't that big of an underdog as far as actuality. Line opened at minus 225 for Maverick. Now it's growing. Now it's at minus 315. So she's a little bit wide now. Wider than I think she deserves. It's as low as what? Minus, what do we got? Minus one what? Minus 300. Minus 225 is the best that we found, and now it's minus 315. It keeps growing. Miranda Maverick should win the fight. But note that she's got a tough opponent on the other side. Jasudavicius is not a bum. She can fight for sure. And she's long, she's tall, she's tricky. But Maverick is going to be the better athlete, the physically stronger girl, and the better overall grappler. She's just going to have to close that gap to get there. Her athleticism will carry her here to get the fight to the floor. I'm going Miranda Maverick by a unanimous decision in this fight. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card. It brings us to the featured prelim. It's Nasruddin Imavov versus Chris Curtis. I'm picking Nasruddin Imavov. I wish I was picking Chris Curtis in this spot, but I really think that Imavov from distance is going to be tricky for Curtis to deal with. And I just consistently think about the Jack Hermansson fight where the longer guy was able to out-kickbox him from range. Now, you'll say, oh, but Curtis got a little bit of a reach advantage. The kicks of Imavov, the distance striking style, Chris Curtis, regardless of the reach, he wants to be on the inside to throw his power strikes. He does his best work more in that medium range. Whereas Imavov is going to be kicking from there. He's going to be moving. Chris Curtis doesn't bring bad wrestling to the table, but rarely is going to look to use it, and it's going to be hard to find takedowns here on Imavov. I see this as a fairly competitive fight where Curtis on the inside can definitely find home to power strikes. The Imavov chin will hold up, and I think Imavov from distance is going to have the more significant moments. I think he's going to out-kickbox Chris Curtis over the 3 rounds, and he is going to win a unanimous decision in this fight. I'm going for the young prospect on the come-up. 35 for Chris Curtis. He's still dangerous, and he's still really fun to watch. I like Chris Curtis' style, but I felt as soon as this fight was announced, I said, man, I don't think this is a great stylistic matchup. There's a significant advantage in the range striking, and that is all Imavov. And I got to go with the Russian sniper. I think he's going to use a sniper kickboxing style to outstrike the action man, the always dangerous and fun to watch Chris Curtis here. So Imavov is the pick. As far as the odds here, Imavov minus 145 as the favorite. Chris Curtis, a plus 125 dog. Listen, Chris Curtis is always dangerous and live. He hits hard, but there's no question in that early and young Imavov chin. Imavov 27. He hasn't taken a lot of damage through his career. He went 5 rounds with Sean Strickland. Yeah, he lost that fight, but he gained a fuckload of experience fighting a top-tier striker in the 185-pound middleweight division, and I think that Chris Curtis is going to get outstruck. So we're going to Imavov to do it. Prospect beating the veteran in this matchup here. Next fight on the card, it brings us to the main card. If you guys haven't, make sure you smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. We got Eryk Anders versus Marc-Andre Barriault to open up the pay-per-view. I got to go with Marc-Andre Barriault. I got to go with Canada's own in this fight here. Yeah, Eryk Anders got a nice knockout last time against Kyle Dawkins, and he's a decent athlete, but he's rarely getting those type of KOs. Barriault's a good pressure fighter. Both guys are going to be strong inside of the clinch. Both guys are going to throw big punches inside. Neither are top-tier middleweights, but I just think Barriault is going to have a little bit of an edge with the output. I like the high guard kickboxing style that he has. I think it's a little bit better than Eryk Anders' style. I think he lands with more. The volume is going to be an edge. As far as in the grappling department, I think Anders could be a bit physically stronger, but not all that much. I know Anders looks a little bit more menacing with his frame, but Barriault's pretty wide, and he's deceptively strong too. I think Barriault takes a competitive decision, and I feel like this fight's going over 2.5 here. I hope that I'm wrong on this one, and this turns out to be the sleeper fight of the night, but I think this could be the sleeper of the night as far as all the fights, and maybe not the best main card opener for fans paying that expensive pay-per-view price tag. It's minus 152 for Marc-Andre Barriault. He is the favorite. Eryk Anders plus 132. It's not that Anders has no shot. It's a coin flip fight. But as far as guys that I would want to back as a dog, Eryk Anders is not my favorite for this matchup here. He's dog tough, and he does have a bit of power, but usually it's him in clinch-heavy fights, competitive, not huge shots landed, and he edges the decision or he takes an L by decision. And I feel like Marc-Andre Barriault is going to be a guy that edges him on the scorecard. So I'm going Marc-Andre Barriault, the Canadian, to get a win. Team Canada's getting some W's this card, guys. Next fight on the card, we got Dan Ige versus Nate Landwehr. This is a dog fight. Oh my gosh. Nate Landwehr brings the fucking fire. And Dan Ige is going to match that fire. I'm picking Dan Ige to win, and I actually think he's going to knock Nate Landwehr out. If you look at Landwehr, historically tough. His knockout losses all come by knees. I think that Ige could be the first guy to put him out with the hands. Landwehr is someone that is willing to absorb damage to land damage of his own. Dan Ige's got slick boxing, and he's got knockout power. He's got KO wins. And Nate Landwehr can't just walk forward on him, try to bully him, and just absorb crazy shots, because when Ige touches the chin, it's going to do damage. And it might not be the first punch, but there's going to be plenty of shots that Ige lands here, and it's going to eventually wear on Nate Landwehr. I think he knocks him out. I'm going Ige via KO. I love the Nate the Train in the UFC. I love the entertainment value of his style, and I think this will end up being a really entertaining fight. But I got to go with the more slicker and polished striker and Dan Ige, especially due to the fact that, yes, Nate Landwehr has decent grappling skill. It's not extreme top level, and we've seen Ige fight top tier time and time again, from the Chan Sung Jungs to the Josh Emmets to the Movsar Evloev. And then when you step him back a bit, he fucks a tough Damon Jackson up. I think Nate Landwehr is getting fucked up in this one. I'm going KO for Dan Ige over Nate Landwehr. Minus 250 for Dan Ige. He's a bit of a sizable favorite. Landwehr, the plus 210 underdog. I like the Ige side. I like 50K to get the KO. And maybe he's getting a 50K bonus for fight of the night. But shit, if he also knocks Nate Landwehr out, could get himself 100,000 with a KO bonus and a fight of the night bonus. Because you know Nate the Train's bringing the fire. So really dope fight. Excited as hell for the matchup. Thankfully, we got Nate Landwehr on the main card fighting against Dan Ige, because I really think this is going to get fans excited. This fight's going to be one of those dog fights that really gets the pay-per-view heated up, especially with the chance of a sleeper fight in the Eryk Anders, Marc-Andre Barriault fight before this one. Next fight on the card, it's the featured bout. It's Mike Malott versus Adam Fugitt. I'm going to pick Mike Malott to win by submission. Though Adam Fugitt is deceptively good. He's long, man. 77-inch reach, but they're both the same height at 6'1". But you got that real reach advantage, man. From distance, Adam Fugitt, he can strike a little bit. He's not super crisp with the technique, but he's a long southpaw that's a bit awkward. And those long arms are a factor, right? I could see him touching Malott a little bit. Malott's going to be faster. He's going to close the gap better. He's got better overall kickboxing. And note this too, southpaw versus southpaw matchup. That's a lot of fun here. I think Mike Malott on the ground is going to have a clear edge. I also think he is the harder puncher. As far as knockout power, I'd favor the side of Mike Malott. When they go to the ground, Malott is going to have a bit of an advantage. Yes, Adam Fugitt can wrestle, But Mike Malott, I think the better overall grappler. And with those grappling chops, I'm calling it. Mike Malott submits Adam Fugitt in Canada. As far as the lines for this one, Malott is minus 205 as the favorite. Fugitt plus 175 as the underdog. I got to go with Mike Malott to win. I'm going with the favorite. He's 9-1-1. There's a lot of hype on Mike Malott, and I think this is a matchup that he really can build himself beautifully on, especially at home in Canada. For the Canadians, this is the fans' main event right here. This is their guy. Mike Malott's a legit Canadian prospect. I mean, 31, a couple wins. Who knows? Maybe he's getting a ranked opponent soon. Beating an Adam Fugitt is an absolute necessary fight for Mike Malott. So we're going with proper Mike Malott. Proper 12, baby. We're going for, I think he's going to get the sub. I think on the ground he's subbing him. Co-main event, we got Charles Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush. I'm picking Beneil Dariush, guys. And it pains me to pick Beneil because I was trying to pick Charles Oliveira, but I just have certain red flags with Charles Oliveira that I bring into matchups, right? Southpaw striking does tend to affect Oliveira. Straights can land through the guard. Also, that check right hook could be a factor. Dariush, though not the most dangerous striker in the UFC, can box a bit. He's got hands on him, and he's willing to throw heavies. He's got KO wins. Also, what is another red flag for Oliveira that I carry with worry into matchups? When fighters have confidence and ability to follow up on the ground. If Charles Oliveira is hurt, as you saw with Islam Makhachev, a very capable grappler, they follow up, they can get on top, they can finish him. Yes, guys that fear the ground skills of Charles Oliveira, he's able to recover because he lays down, he says, come play in my guard, and they say, fuck no, let's strike. And that's where Oliveira is finding a lot of success in his wins. This matchup here with Beneil Dariush, if Oliveira gets hurt and dropped, he ain't going to have a chance to say, come on to the ground. Dariush will already be on top of him. He's going to be throwing ground and pound, looking for subs. I think Beneil Dariush is going to end up submitting Charles Oliveira. He might ground and pound TKO him, but I think there's a real chance that he subs Oliveira. Potential strangle, maybe an arm triangle, maybe a rear naked choke after Oliveira's hurt. Dariush looks to pass to mount. Oliveira turns his back, and then Dariush strangles him. Submission skill set of Dariush is off the charts. I think the better wrestler is Dariush. As far as the pure jiu-jitsu, Oliveira's dangerous from bottom, but I don't see him subbing Dariush from the bottom position here. So then I asked myself, in the striking department, could Oliveira find a knockout? Yes, but he also could definitely be caught by Beneil Dariush, who's a capable striker and brings in a wrestling advantage. I'm telling you, I think Beneil Dariush is pulling this one off, guys. And with a win here, please give Beneil a title shot. I know he's not the most sellable fighter on the UFC roster, but holy shit, he's on a tear. And if you beat Charles Oliveira, former champion, dominant champion for a little while, I think that warrants a title fight. So the pick is Beneil Dariush. Sorry, Charles Du Bronx. Love you, but I don't think you're getting it done in this one. I'm going with Benny. Minus 138 for Beneil Dariush. Charles Oliveira plus 118 as a dog. I'm going the Dariush favorite side. Interesting to see. Dariush, the favorite over the former champion. What did it open up at, actually? We got to look at this. Dariush opened at slight favorite, minus 125. So he's been the favorite throughout. The bookies had him as the favorite. I do think he wins the fight. Beneil Dariush is getting it done. He's beaten Charles Oliveira, and I think he's jumping it. It's title time. Islam Makhachev, Beneil Dariush is a dope fight too, because you at least give Makhachev now another test before the potential Volkanovski rematch of a guy who's extremely skilled on the floor. Definitely can strike too. I hope Dariush is getting the next shot with a win here, but we shall see what the UFC decides. I think he's beating Charles though. Main event of the evening. Make sure you guys smash that like button, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. It's Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana. And I think that Irene Aldana is going to win. I have had a hunch for Aldana getting a knockout over Amanda Nunes since this fight was announced. And I'm not going to stray from that feeling. I can't go out there and pick Amanda Nunes when I have this gut knot inside that's saying Irene Aldana might catch her with a hook. And if she hurts her, I don't feel like Amanda Nunes has that same dog in her that she had previously to being a very successful, wealthy fighter who's been on the top of the game forever. I mean, you look at her against Pena. She was broken in that fight. The first one. Yeah, she won the rematch, but she got touched a lot on the feet too, even in that second fight. I feel like on the feet, Aldana can hurt Amanda Nunes. I don't think Nunes has the top tier wrestling where she's going to be able to take Aldana down and just bully her. You even look back to the Germaine de Randamie fight. For 5 rounds, Amanda Nunes controlled on the floor because she was having difficulty on the feet. Aldana has the better chops on the floor for sure than a Germaine de Randamie ever had. Aldana also hits harder. Though, you know, different kickboxing style. We got the Dutch kickboxing with Germaine de Randamie, whereas the Mexican boxing of Irene Aldana, she's got heavy hands. I don't see her getting caught with a stupid high kick, some crazy shit. I think that Nunes is going to look to throw heavy. Irene Aldana is going to throw heavier. And she's going to find the chin of Nunes, and I think Nunes will say, oh, fuck, and she's going to eventually crumble. Also, note at 35, this weight cut is not getting any easier for Amanda Nunes. She fought at 145. I think she loved it at 145. Less of a weight cut. She's a big girl. Now she comes back down. She just beat Juliana Pena. It was supposed to be a Pena trilogy, which, you know, there's a little bit of excitement maybe for Nunes. Yeah, I'm going to take out Juliana Pena for a second time and really prove it that I'm better. But now it's like Aldana, new contender on the come up, has taken a couple losses, but is constantly evolving. The Mexicans are taking over in MMA right now. What do we got? 4 Mexican champs? I think Irene Aldana is going to end up getting it done, guys. I think she's knocking Amanda Nunes out, and she's going to follow up with ground and pound, and the ref is going to stop it. I'm thinking the hook might find the chin of Nunes, because Nunes is looking to throw big straight shots. I think Aldana is going to be in that slick boxing stance, comes up with a money left hook. Because I was watching Aldana even in her last fight against Macy Chiasson, where she was losing some of that fight. On the feet, though, Aldana's boxing looked money. And Chiasson is way bigger than Aldana. And note that that fight was not at 135. It was a catchweight fight at 140, where Aldana came in at 137.5. She was the smaller girl in that octagon with Chiasson. Still was able to find a way to win that fight, and it shows there's no break in Irene Aldana. And now she's in the title fight that I honestly was hoping for. I didn't want to see Pena Nunes 3. I was way more enthused of a new matchup, that being Aldana, especially with the legit boxing threat. I think that this is going to be the matchup that breaks Nunes. I'm going Aldana and new champion of the world, bringing a belt home from Mexico. I think she's beating Amanda Nunes now, man. I'm telling you, these girls have evolved. Nunes is getting older. I don't know if she's got that same lion hunger. This is a filled up lion. She's got all the food she needs. And now she's got to go out on a hunt. Fuck, bro. Aldana's coming to kill. She wants what Nunes has, and I think she's taking it on Saturday. I'm going Aldana. Forget about betting lines, right? Don't be swayed by the lines. This is a fucking close fight. And Aldana is the plus 243 underdog. I think new champion at that plus 243 tag. It's wide because of Nunes' legacy. But as far as the actual stylistic matchup, I don't see this as a 3-1 favorite Amanda Nunes. Of course, the legacy is going to carry, and it's going to be 3-1. I'm not surprised by these lines. But Aldana's in this fight, and Aldana's getting it done. I'm going Aldana by knockout. I think their hands are going to do it. I think she's going to upset Amanda Nunes and make the fucking UFC world go crazy, which as fight fans, we need some crazy shit to happen on this card. Because overall, coming back to Canada, this ain't great. This ain't a great card. It's an okay card, but it ain't a great card. Aldana winning at the top is going to make this a memorable and historic moment for fight fans. New champion, Irene Aldana. She takes out Amanda Nunes. We saw Juliana beat her and break her. Aldana's got way more power than that. She's going to put a thud right on that Nunes chin. I knew when Aldana knocked out Ketlin Vieira years ago, I said, who the fuck? Who's this girl right here? Like, damn. She's got the power and she's got the punching style to hurt Amanda Nunes, and I think she's going to. Aldana by knockout to win the main event in what will be a massive upset. New champion. That is UFC 289. Those are the full card predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely let me know what you think of the picks in the comments. If you got nothing to say but you enjoy the content, W in the chat as always to help boost the algorithm for your boy. Much love, people. Smash the likes. If you're new, subscribe. Content every day of the week, so do not miss it. Keep it locked in right here at MMA Experts. Much love, people, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace, everyone.